Hey, nice to see you and welcome to today's video. I really want to break down some expensive money habits that can be quite draining on your wallet. Habits like the regular tendencies that we have are often sometimes pretty hard to break because these are the habits that we do over and over again on a daily basis without really thinking about them, just because they're part of our everyday routine. And the habits that we have now are really going to shape our lives for both good and bad reasons. So make sure to watch the entirety of this video to not miss any parts, because all of these habits tie into each other in one form or another. And if you like today's content, consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get started up with this video. I oftentimes see a lot of people doing these mistakes on a daily basis, and I'm not gonna lie, I sometimes find myself making these errors as well, but doing these way too often can really take a toll on your finances and inhibit your ability to save any money. So jumping right into it, the first one here is spending more money than you make, which is the absolute cardinal sin of personal finance. This one habit alone will have sort of like a domino effect, causing even bigger problems in your life when it comes to areas of your finances. For instance, if you spend more money than you earn, you're probably going to have to rely on credit to cover the rest of your expenses. And we all know that credit comes with interest and traps you into even more debt. It wouldn't really be the smartest idea if you spent all of the money you needed on, on just materialistic things like a $100 jacket or a $200 pair of shoes. And I'm not saying at all you shouldn't spend money on things you like or want, but don't have it get to the point where you spent all of the money you needed for necessities, and you have to go and use your credit card to pay for rent or to pay for your bills or just even some groceries because you don't get paid until like 2 weeks from now. If you continue to spend more than you earn, you're just going to keep feeding into a bigger and more vicious cycle. And if you currently spend more money than you make, this needs to be the very first thing you address. Do not even worry about anything else. Do not worry about starting a business. Do not worry about investing until you start living within your means. And for some people, this is gonna mean creating new spending habits based on following and tracking expenses within a budget. And for those people that are already on a tight budget, you kind of have no other choice but to increase your income. And I know that's a little bit hard as of this moment because too many places aren't hiring due to the whole pandemic. So I would highly recommend checking out this video I made right here on some of the best ways to make money online. So you can either cut your expenses and focus on building a better budget, or you can focus on making more money to close that gap. And this is gonna bring me to the second habit that just really bothers me a lot, and it's taking out payday loans. Like, the idea of me owing somebody or a lender like $5,000 with 25% interest just gives me so much anxiety. Payday loans are gonna be one of the worst forms of debt, and they're never a good idea. And I really hate payday loan ads because they prey on people that they know they're in a bad situation or they know they don't have money, and they look to target this specific group of people. And I really hate those ads too, like of that one guy that doesn't have any money for groceries and he's at the store, so he just goes on this one app and gets like $100 because he doesn't get paid until 2 weeks from now. And for example, let's just say that there's somebody that wants to go on a vacation, but they can't really quite afford it at the moment. So they go ahead and they go to a lender and take out a payday loan to go on that vacation. That person is gonna have to pay back that loan when they get back. So if they don't have enough money, what they're gonna go ahead and do is they go to another payday loan lender and take out another loan just to pay back that first lender. And you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. If you currently take out payday loans, I can't stress enough how badly you need to break this habit like right now. The interest on these is just not worth it. There's so many other ways for you to make money and come up with the money when you need it. This type of debt falls into debt like of similar categories like credit card debt and various loans. And if you're at a point where you can't really afford this stuff right now because you don't get paid for a couple of days, maybe look for a way to cut out this stuff altogether, or look to budget ahead of time so you can be able to afford the things when needed. And I know some people are on a very low income, but just avoid payday loans at all costs. They make money off of you, and you need to be aware of exactly what you are getting into with these. Just like how I said earlier, one of the worst things you can do is just go into more debt just to pay off another debt. I don't really like borrowing money in general, especially when I don't have it, so just be careful with this one, guys. Number 3 here is, we already know how eating out frequently at restaurants can be pretty expensive, but in this case, it's gonna be food delivery. Services like this can be really draining on your wallet. For example, if there's people that are at work and they didn't really have time to make food and they don't want to wait till they get home, sometimes they could be working late, so they actually don't have time to go out and get food themselves. So they just order food to their office, and this sometimes happens to me. I'll be really busy with schoolwork or studying in the library, and I didn't have time to bring anything with me for lunch, so I just go and order Mexican food on Uber Eats. But that $10 burrito can turn into $25 when you account for the Uber delivery fee, and the service might cost a couple extra dollars, and you tip the driver because it's the nice thing to do since you know they're not making that much money driving around doing their deliveries all day. And before you know it, that $10 quickly turns into $25 for just something you could have made at home. This adds up pretty quickly, especially if you use services like this on a daily basis, because a lot of my friends in college would often not have time to cook their own food due to being too busy studying or working, and sometimes they lived pretty far from campus and didn't have a car to actually go and physically get food themselves, so they would order on Uber Eats practically almost every single day. And last year, when I lived at my apartment on campus, I lived pretty close to most of the restaurants around the school. So if I wanted to go and get food like at midnight or at 2 a.m., I could just walk there and do so. But some of my friends who lived pretty far away from campus and didn't have a car would end up spending a lot more money on food delivery than I did. The next one here is going to be blaming others for your situation. We've all heard people say things like life isn't fair, and more often than not, we've probably said this to ourselves, but it is 100% true. We've all been born into different social classes, with some of us having more opportunities than others. But even though these sayings are true, it's blaming others for your situation is not going to help you at all. There's many reasons to why people may be struggling financially. I don't really want to get into all of that though, because that's a separate topic within itself. But oftentimes, many people find themselves with the mentality that it's easier for them to shift the blame on other people to why they might be in a certain situation or struggling financially. And it happens more often than not where I see people saying, oh, it's that person's fault for getting me to take out a certain loan, or it's someone else's fault for them making a bad financial decision. You have to understand there's a lot of shady and slimy business out there within different industries like the credit industry and a lot of business niches for the most part. I don't like putting the blame on anybody else, but that's just me though. For example, I could blame my chemistry teacher and say she's a horrible teacher because I failed the last test or something, but that wouldn't really get me too far. Or I could blame my guidance counselor, and if I listened to him when I was 15 or 16 years old and took out $60,000 in student loans, and if I was drowning in debt because of that today, it would be pretty easy to shift the blame towards him. But again, how much would that really do? Not much. At the end of the day, it's going to fall upon you to make these decisions for yourself. Even if someone persuades your thinking in one way or another, it comes down to you actually signing your name on that contract. Whether you're buying a new car or taking out a loan or something, in the end, the responsibility to pay that is gonna fall upon you. So this is why you need to make sure exactly you know what you're getting yourself into. And for whatever you agree upon signing for anything, don't let excuses hold you back. You either have the choice to work and build the life or finances you want, or you can go the route of blaming others and to make excuses as to why you are financially struggling. The last one I want to talk about here is going to be falling into social peer pressure consistently, whether you go out and have drinks with your friends every single weekend or always agree to help somebody out, even if it means going out of your way to do so. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and socialize and spend time with your friends or help somebody out if they need it, but if you're going as far as to spending money on drinks and things of that nature when you have bills due and you have to make a choice between those two, then you can get into a really bad situation. I was always the type to agree to go out with my friends when they invited me to the beach or like to a fancy restaurant or something, but then I really started to realize I was doing this every single weekend and it really started adding up. And before I realized it, I was like, holy crap, I just spent like $500 this month on dinners and things like that. It really amazes me how society portrays saving money seem uncool, or following a monthly budget make you seem like a total boomer. I've seen so many people spend a majority of their 20s trying to look like as if they have all this money, when in reality they are broke. And I don't mean to sound too harsh, but there's a lot of people out there that, in spite of knowing their expensive habits are keeping them broke, they still continue to do what they do and wonder where all their money goes. It really takes a great deal of not caring about what people think about you and ignoring all the comments and opinions of your certain friends or family members as you try to fix your financial situation. Social pressure and peer pressure altogether can be a real pain, but it's really important to focus on what truly matters and what's most important to you, not only in the terms of your finances, but through your health as well. Because if you're the type of person that goes out to drink and eats out every single weekend, you know, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'm pretty sure that can't be too great for your health. Just remember, when it comes to breaking bad financial habits, it can oftentimes be easier and more in your favor to replace those bad habits with new and good ones. Just take it down to the basics. Avoid consumer debt, live below your means, and save for your future self. If you can accomplish those three things, you'll be in a pretty good place for years to come. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and if you found any value, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel a lot and I would really appreciate it, as well as hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in another video later on this weekend. Peace.